Beginning on October 23rd, we look back to the dawn of ancient times, to the earliest age of the Roman kingdom, a period veiled in mystery. Far from the cultural sophistication and grandeur of the later Republic, early Rome was a world of poverty, filth, and violence. In those primitive days, Roman warfare was not unlike that of the other Italic peoples. Battles were small, local affairs, raids and clan wars fought by loosely allied tribes. Warriors wore no uniforms. Their weapons and armor varied greatly in quality. Most had no armor at all, carrying only a wooden shield and 2 spears, one for throwing, the other for close combat. A warrior who gained power and prestige would eventually rise to the rank of chieftain, a leader whose authority rested on his skill in battle and his ability to distribute loot fairly. His wealth was reflected in his equipment, gleaming bronze helmets, pectorals, greaves, and a sword that symbolized his rank and honor. Under Rome's 6th king, Servius Tullius, a major military reform transformed the kingdom into a state built for war. A census of all adult male citizens recorded their property and divided them into 5 economic classes, each responsible for providing their own arms according to their wealth. For the first time, Rome began to form a citizen army, inspired by Greek organization and discipline. The wealthiest citizens fought as hoplites, wearing bronze helmets, breastplates, and greaves, armed with long, thrusting spears and round shields. Poorer citizens fought with lighter equipment, wooden shields, simple spears, and sometimes only slings and stones. With the fall of the monarchy and the rise of the Roman Republic, this system evolved further. Every citizen was now obliged to defend his land. Yet early defeats, such as the disaster at the river Allia in 390 BC, forced Rome to rethink its strategy. From this crisis emerged the Manipular Legion, a flexible formation divided into small blocks, giving the army far greater mobility and coordination. The youngest and poorest soldiers, the hastati, fought in the front lines with light armor and throwing spears. Behind them stood the principes, older and wealthier men equipped with heavier weapons and chainmail armor. The final line, the triarii, consisted of hardened veterans armed with long spears and experience earned through countless campaigns. In 107 BC, the general Gaius Marius revolutionized the Roman army once again. He abolished the class-based system and established a professional standing army, men who fought for pay, land, and citizenship. Equipment became standardized, armor and weapons unified. Thus was born the image of the classic Roman legionary, armed with a gladius short sword, pilum javelins, and the iconic rectangular scutum shield. Then came Augustus Caesar, Rome's first emperor, who reorganized the bloated legions of the civil wars into a permanent force of 28 legions, loyal to him alone. Under Augustus, the Roman army became the backbone of the empire, disciplined, efficient, and unstoppable. By the 1st century, the Roman soldier had achieved his most recognizable form, the lorica segmentata, segmented plate armor made of overlapping metal bands, nearly impervious to the weapons of the ancient world. Helmets became more sophisticated, featuring hinged cheek guards and reinforced visors for protection without limiting speech or vision. As the empire expanded, differences emerged among legions stationed across vast territories. Soldiers along the misty frontiers of Britain looked very different from those in the scorching deserts of the East, their gear reflecting local influence and available materials. But the 3rd century brought chaos. Civil wars, invasions, and economic collapse tore at the empire's foundations. To fill the ranks, Rome increasingly relied on barbarian recruits, foreign soldiers who would one day shape and even command the Roman armies themselves. The Emperor Diocletian finally restored order. He restructured the military into 2 distinct branches, the Limitanei, frontier troops stationed along the borders, and the Comitatenses, mobile field armies ready to respond to threats anywhere in the empire. Standard uniforms gave way to a clothing allowance, allowing soldiers to tailor their own gear, producing a wide variety of appearances across the ranks. At the top stood the Palatini, elite soldiers serving close to the emperor himself. They were Rome's finest, disciplined, formidable, and utterly loyal. Even after the fall of the Western Empire in the 4th century, Rome's military legacy endured. In the East, the Byzantine Empire carried forward the organization, discipline, and unbreakable spirit of the Roman soldier, a legacy that survived for nearly 1,000 years after the fall of Rome itself.